All right. Mine works.
Mine works.
These don't work, so they're not even plugged in.
Ah.
All right. There you go.
Well,
Test your mic. Test your mic.
Testing.
Yeah, you're
Test.
good there. Okay.
Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership in beautiful Carrollton, Texas, it is DCTF Live, an internet show for humans and humanoid creatures. My name is Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, and TexasFootball.com, a website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. I am sitting here. Sitting over there is Maximilian Thompson.
What's going on?
What's up?
I'm wearing my red, white, and blue, baby.
You are. You're supporting America.
What is more patriotic than wearing the jersey, the U.S. national team, and Clint Dempsey from Nacogdoches, Texas?
On Canada Day.
On Canada Day.
Yes. And speaking of Canada Day.
Uh-oh.
Segue. We are joined by theoldcoach.com's and the old coach's Matt Stepp. Hey, Matt.
What's up, fellas?
You're going to Canada.
I actually
On
am.
Canada Day.
Ironic, right? I mean,
Wow.
it's awesome.
Is Canada Day, is it a big day up there?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I would say it may be more of a big deal up there than in 4th of July is here.
Real? Ooh.
I mean, it's pretty intense
No.
up there.
Matt.
What do you, go ahead.
Calm down here. More intense than 4th of July. This is America.
It is, but man, the Canadians by nature are very humble, and they don't go.
I don't even believe that Canada Day is as big a deal as Texas Independence Day.
Maybe.
Take
There's
that, Maple
one day
Leafs.
of the year they really do get fired up about being Canadian, and it's
The start
July
of Maple
1st.
Leaf season or Maple season.
Today
I think so.
is Friday,
I need
July
to bring
1st.
y'all maple syrup, by the way.
Today is Friday, July 1st, 2016, episode 162. 162, the number of runs that Alexio Gondo gave up in his illustrious Texas Rangers career. All right, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about with Matt Stepp. First and foremost, what are your Canada Day plans? Are you going to eat poutine and
And maple syrup, yeah.
eat poutine with maple syrup and drink
While riding a moose. Crown Royal.
What's the
and Labatt Blue.
Labatt? That's
Yes,
it. I was
yeah,
trying to
of
think of
course.
the
No.
Canadian.
Molson.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not getting there till like midnight, so it's gonna be pretty low key tonight. I mean,
That's when the parties just start.
Yeah,
in
that's
Canada, I heard.
that's what. That's when
10 years ago, right?
That's when they fire up the Canada fireworks. Do they?
They do.
that?
Yes, they
Okay.
do. They do fireworks. It's a very big deal. Yeah, they do fireworks. But yeah, I'm just gonna do what any red-blooded American north of the border would do, and we'll barbecue.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, and
Yeah.
and I'm gonna try to smuggle some brisket up there.
Yeah.
Just really stick it to Trudeau.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your
Yeah.
face,
What we do.
Justin Trudeau, with your handsomeness and your overall milk toast. All right, so we're here talking high school football, and what's funny is that, and this is going to be the weird. I think people think that because we are like we both put out high school football magazines that we like don't like each other. Look at this, guys. You
This
see
is a
that?
Twitter picture right
You
here.
see this?
Yeah,
Go ahead
right?
and tweet
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Friday Night Football, which your FNF, do you call it Friday Night Football or just FNF?
FNF.
FNF is out, and it should be literally right. If you go to Walmart, right?
Yeah.
If you go to Walmart, it should be literally right next to our magazine.
Buy them both.
Buy both.
Yeah.
Buy both. They're both good. And
As Greg Tepper says, I'd like food in my tummy too.
we all like food in our tummy.
Yes.
But the good thing is that because we are of the opinion, the reason that we talk so much about high school football is because we like different opinions. We don't want just none of what either of us say is gospel. It's just all a conversation. So I figured we would roll through little bit of the rankings, a little bit of
Sure.
ranking things that we
Talk
have.
about the right ones.
Yes, talk
about the wrong ones.
Exactly. Good call.
Yes.
So let's start.
We'll both be wrong, probably.
Let's start
right?
in 6A. Open up your copy
Okay,
of Dave
all right.
Campbell's
Yes,
Texas
Dave
Football.
Campbell's Texas, great cover. by the way.
Thank you. I really like. Look, that's DCTF Live's own Jack Dallas
Yes.
on the cover.
Friend of the program,
Yes,
Jack Dallas.
friend of the program. All right. So 6A. 6A, you guys have at number 1 the Cedar Hill Longhorns. I think we have them at 3?
Two.
Okay, 2. So we're close
pretty
there.
Close, yeah.
I like Cedar Hill a lot. I think we've had Joey McGuire on the show, and
Who doesn't like
I
Cedar
think-
Hill? Like DeSoto.
DeSoto and
That's-
Duncanville probably
That's
don't
like
like
it.
them.
I
Yeah.
talked.
Katie probably doesn't like Cedar Hill
Probably.
that much.
Yeah.
I talked to the I talked to Coach McGuire for the show or for the magazine, and he mentioned he was like, I think this is our best set of skill position players we've ever had.
They're loaded.
Which
It's saying something since he likes to kick the can down the road more than anyone else.
yeah,
right?
I mean
Like,
honestly,
oh,
the,
we're
the
not that
funny-
good this year.
The funniest thing is that he's the guy who will be like, oh, like we got a shot and stuff like that. But this was the first time that he came out and was very emphatic, like we're going to be pretty good, and I can absolutely see it, and I think that there's ample reason to believe that. I love Avery Davis. I love what they bring to the table. I got no. I think for me, the top 3. I think we have the same top 3 in some order.
Yes.
It's Cedar Hill. You have Cedar Hill, Katy, Lake Travis. We have Lake Travis, Cedar Hill, Katy.
Correct.
I think that those are. I think those.
I think one set is right and one set is wrong.
Okay, there you go. I think for me there is a clear top tier
I
of
agree.
6A, and
Those
it's
three-
probably those 3.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the big question with Cedar Hill is going to be defensively. You know,
Right.
against elite offensive teams, are they going to be able to consistently get stops?
Yeah.
If they can, because I think they're going to score pretty much against anyone at least 35 points every game.
Right.
But are they going to get into the playoffs and lose a game 49-42?
Well, and
Yeah.
the thing again for Cedar Hill is you think about last year's playoff exit, like where I think we all agree that if they hadn't gotten bounced by South Lake Carroll in the first round because they had to play, not because of, but in part because of the road game, I think there was a chance they make a deep run. And so
Yeah.
bringing back all these guys, I think is going to be good.
A little motivation too. I mean, you got to think this is not. They've played for a state title 3 years in a row, and then they
Yeah.
lose in the first round. They've got to be
And for me,
pissed off, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
For me, 6A is always not the easiest to predict, but it's the easiest to identify the group of teams from which the champion's going to come.
Yeah. It's a much smaller group.
Yeah,
I would say.
there's for me, looking at y'all's rankings, the real big mystery for me in this whole class is probably George Ranch, because if you talk to the folks around George Ranch, they think they're going to be just as good as they were last year.
Yeah, and I watched them in 7-on-7. I know it's just 7-on-7, but I got a chance to see them up close down in Houston a few weeks ago. I mean, they look the part. I mean, they've got cats that can go. They've got depth. They've played in a tough schedule recently. Even in non-district, they scheduled tough teams. I think, in Division II in Houston with Katy going Division I, that's wide open.
There's people. I've talked to folks around the George Ranch program who tell me that they think that 6A D2 might be an easier path than 5A D1, and
about it.
there's something to be said for that. All right.
Especially Region 3 with not having to play Temple, not having to play Ridge Point.
Right.
That's Foster. It's way more wide open than
Sure.
in typical years.
All right, let's take a look at 5A. I'm flipping over to 5A. I don't remember what exact page it is. All right. You guys have the same number 1 as we do.
Yes, we do.
We have the same number 1.
Woo.
It's Denton Ryan.
And
And
number 2 also.
Same number 2.
Yeah.
I don't think there are arguments for other teams. I think you could say Aledo, Cedar Park, of course, being the defending champs.
Right.
But I look at Denton Ryan, and
They're coming.
between being as good of a 6A team as they were last year,
13-1.
bringing back almost all of those important parts,
Mhm.
and then and then dropping down a classification.
And they added a part. They got the kid, the defensive end who moved
Yeah,
back
the
from
4 or 5 star
California.
D end. Yeah.
He was at Ryan
and
as
then
a
left and then came
he was
back.
at Ryan
yeah.
as a freshman and sophomore, left for his junior year, and now is back. I mean, you
Yeah.
add him to the mix to an already
it's
really
like
good defense.
and
Yeah.
it's like a 5A thing, right? Because Aledo added the 4 or 5 star lineman from
Oh,
California
yeah.
too.
That's
So they're
not an
like-
uncommon thing in Aledo.
Yeah,
not
no,
to,
but,
not to piss off my Aledo people, but they
yeah.
usually get guys move in fairly often.
Yeah.
Let me
but I mean, at
ask-
the top,
Yeah.
Two really good teams.
Let me ask you about Temple, because we all love white front blue back magic, or
blue front white
blue
back.
Blue front white back. We all love it.
Send your angry emails to
Thank
Greg
you. I'm
Tepper.
sorry.
Yeah.
TexasFootball.com. And they've got their. What's rare is that they've got the defensive superstar this year. It's Taquan Graham, their defensive end. I'm not 100% sold on that offense yet, and I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Question marks for sure there offensively. Temple the last couple of years had been pretty an offensive dominated team, and the defense was kind of the question mark, and it's kind of flipped this year. And again, I use 7-on-7 as a little bit of a gauge. They struggled in qualifying this year. They didn't qualify for state 7-on-7. Their results weren't as good as the last couple of years, which indicates offensively the last couple of years they were really strong. 7-on-7, they played well. This year, a little bit of struggle, maybe early on especially. It's going to take them a little while to get rolling.
Yeah, new coach.
Also, they've lost a legend in Spradlin.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be they're real interesting. The other team that always, to me, I think everybody's forgetting about and sleeping on is Amarillo. And I understand they lost some of their key pieces from last year.
Yeah.
But if they can, and it's a big if, but dropping down, they're going to get their shot at Denton Ryan, almost certainly, right?
Yeah.
They're going to get their shot at Denton Ryan. And I don't know. I mean, picking against Mel Maxfield is something you do at your own peril, I think.
Yeah, I mean, with Amarillo, their style of play, I think just because they're unique with the wing tee and they run it so well, I think they'll be a tough matchup. Their stud running back transferred, ironically, to Canyon, which there's some questions on if he'll get a PAPF approved, but he's not going to be playing for Amarillo. We know that.
Right.
So, but at the same token, he's a different kind of back than Amarillo's usually had because he's been kind of a game breaker, and Amarillo kind of has the plodding back. So, I wonder if Amarillo will have enough explosiveness to beat Denton Ryan, but at the same token, maybe Mel gets a little weird and does a home-and-home flip, and Denton Ryan's got to go to Amarillo again this year.
Man, let me tell you.
That's a tough. They almost lost to Tascosa. I mean,
Clash of great uniforms, too.
Yeah, absolutely true. For a Division I, we got Argyle, or you got Argyle number 1.
Yes.
We have, who do we
have? Argyle number 1 as well.
Oh, look at us. All right, look at the consensus.
Geniuses over here, man.
The Argyle's interesting. They bring back a fair amount, and I think that they're a strong team to start at the top. The rest of it is, to me, a bit of a mystery because you've got teams that are either on the cusp of something big but they've never been able to get over the top, or you've got teams that have these individual superstars who could put a team on their back. For example, I look at Abilene Wiley, and for me, I'm always bullish on Abilene Wiley, I think, because of Hugh Sandifer and because they're always so well coached and they're not going to beat themselves.
In the playoffs, they're such a tough matchup because Sandifer has them so well prepared. He always has 3 or 4 gimmick plays, and not gimmick plays, but just tricks up his sleeve. And then in the playoffs, those plays can make the difference.
So you've got that, and then you've got other teams like Kennedale. And I know Kennedale loses Q Wadley, but they bring back maybe the best linebacker in the state in Baron Browning, and I don't know. For me, I look at 4A-D1, and Argyle starts at the top because I think they're the best blend of individual superstars plus pedigree and been there before. But I look at 4A-D1, and I think there's a fair chance we see some chaos here.
Yeah, I think Kennedale kind of has been on the cusp, hasn't broken through yet. Navasota's got a coaching change. Carthage, they were rated highly, but they lost a lot of guys. Liberty Ilu lost a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball. La Vega took some hits with graduations. All the teams, all the traditional big names that we usually see, they've all lost a lot. And I think that opens the door for a team like Kennedale, opens the door for a team like China Spring. I think Terrell dropping down could make an impact. They lost their quarterback. He hurt his knee during the offseason. I don't know if he'll be back or not. If they get him back, I think that puts Terrell right in the mix. And I've heard a lot of good things about Alvarado and Andrews this year also. So I think those are teams that could be in the mix as well. So, but I think Argyle, to me, just with the pedigree and the combination of what they have coming back, is kind of the clear number 1.
I think we have the number 1 in the same in 4A Division 2 as well. We got West Orange Stark. Look, defending champs.
Hard to argue, right?
I mean,
we were talking about that in the press box, and they were playing Salina last year, just how much they brought back. They bring back a lot. 17 starters from a state champion in a 3-year starter at quarterback.
I still remember sitting there with Greg 2 years before when they lost to Gilmer and going, these kids are all back for the next 2 years.
And you can make a case they really
should
have
won that
kicking
one.
themselves. They should have won that game.
It's funny because we're going to have, I think we're going to have a very similar situation where West Orange Star, coming from the right side of that bracket, is going to have not a much easier draw because I think it's a little bit deeper. I think Cuero is going to be pretty good. Geronimo Navarro is going to be pretty good. But on the left side of that draw, for me, it looks the same. It looks like it's going to be Salina and Gilmer. Those would be the teams that will meet again. The rubber match.
Lots of orange on the field.
Yeah.
It's just going to be it's kind of a tradition now and late in the playoffs for those two to get together. And I think, to me, I know you guys have Gilmer rated ahead of Salina. But it's a flip flop game.
Yeah, for us, those are
really.
those guys are so close.
It really just comes down to
turnovers.
How many of those pieces can they replace around Connor Pingleton on the Salina offense, and that's really it, right? Because we know what Connor Pingleton can do.
Yeah,
and I'm going to start calling this the Pingleton Revenge Tour.
Yeah.
For him being knocked out before he even had a chance to compete for the state title game.
Second play of the game, I think
yeah.
it was. He broke his arm.
So I'm fully prepared. I'm bracing myself to just dub this Salina season the Connor Pingleton Revenge Tour.
Trademark it now, Max.
Trademarking. That's me, officially.
3A Division 1, we have the same teams in the top 3, but we have them in different orders. We both have Cameron Yo at number 3. But then y'all have Brock followed by Mineola. We go Mineola followed by Brock. I don't think. Look, they were in they met in the semifinal. I don't think there's any reason to believe that Brock won't come out of Region 1 and 3A Division 1, and Mineola will come out of Region 2. It's just going to, once again, kind of like Salina and Gilmer, come down to that. Yo's such a mystery to me, because there's so many changes. They lose their workhorse, in Tran Smith. They lose their coach in Rick Rhodes. They do promote from, they do kind of keep things as similar as they can.
Yeah, by bringing Brashear up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, they are the hardest team to project for me in 3A Division 1 because on one hand, I could absolutely see them just running away and just being like, plug and play, let's go, win another title.
Right. You could see Smitherman.
Yes.
Takes a leap forward, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the state. And all of a sudden, their offense looks a little different, but they're just as good.
Yeah. Defense, we know, is going to be pretty good.
I think we're gonna know fairly quickly because that district they're in is just
right. It's a nightmare.
They have 5. There's Jarrell.
Yeah.
Rockdale.
Yeah.
That district. I'm leading off 2 or 3 other. There's 4.
Franklin, right?
Franklin's in there. We're gonna know really quick with Yo.
Yeah.
Just how good they're going to be.
And then the one thing, you've got 2 teams in your 3A Division 1 that you are a lot more bullish on than us. Not a lot more, but because we have them in the top 10. But 4 and 5, you got Sunnyvale and Lamarck. Sunnyvale, very quietly awesome last year. That offense put up crazy numbers. You think that's going to continue?
Yeah, Sunnyvale, talking to my guys in Mesquite, a lot, when they opened up their separate school district, it took them a little while to get going, but they're up front. Their depth is for a 3A school is really, really good. They've got a good mix of skill kids, and I think last year was kind of that new school kind of first deep playoff run. I think they're going to continue that. They lost a few key playmakers, but being so close to the Metroplex, they're getting that growth from Mesquite coming out there, and I think they're going to be able to replenish that.
Dude, Lamarck is in 3A Division 1. Let that sink in.
I was watching them play for the. At the time, 4A, I remember watching them play Aledo for the state title.
For what would now be a 5A state title.
Yeah, and now they're 3A Division 1. So, I think part of what's going to help Lamarck is just some stability.
Right.
Just with they know they're a part of Texas. Just talking to Coach Jackson, just the little things like getting their laundry done, getting new uniforms. They didn't have any of that. Because they didn't have any money. They didn't know what was going on. So I think that just that stability and okay, we know we're going to have a school. We know we're going to have a team. And that's going to be big for them. And then combine that with the drop down, I think it's going to help Lamarck quite a bit.
So we have, and then down in 3A Division 2, we have the same 1 and 2. We have Newton, which I guess you consider a projection pick because they were so kind of meh in the regular season, although they
finished very strong.
Yeah. And they bring back basically every important player coming back. And then we got Wascom. And Wascom, the 2-time defending champs, to me, a big-time mystery just because they lose so much from that team. They lose Chan Amy, who was just such a spark for them. And at the 3A level, that's losing one key player can really do it for them. The other thing about Wascom that is really interesting is that Newton and Wascom both coming from that right side of the bracket in Region 3 and Region 4, and that is, to me, the consensus tougher side of the bracket.
No question.
With Wascom, with Newton, with let's see, Arp, Crockett. We're very bullish on East Bernard.
Hornet's Nest.
Exactly. It's really terrible. On the left side of that bracket, I mean, you got Canadian. And Canadian moving up, they lose a lot of, they lose a fair amount of their talent. You've got them at 4, I believe we've got them at 3. And I don't know, Canadian I think has a chance to just be like, we're not going to skip a beat, but there's also the chance of, you can't look at a team moving up a classification, even as dominant as they were, and say, oh, don't worry, they're going to be just fine.
Right. Yeah, moving up and losing what they lost.
Exactly.
It's kind of a combination thing. I mean, they're still going to be one of the favorites in Region 1, but it's going to be much tougher. I think Region 1 is really tough to call. I mean, I'm kind of bullish on Sonora. I think Sonora is going to be outstanding.
You got them 5. We've got them 13.
Yeah,
a
little bit of a difference. I like Sonora a lot, though.
Yeah, Coach Ketting feels like Childress is the team. And Cisco and Spearman, the normal teams that they're used to dealing with. But he really likes what he sees with Childress.
And I think Henrietta's no one's really talking a lot about Henrietta.
That's true too.
And I think they're a team that really could be sneaking under the radar. Despite having a great year last year, I think they're a team that could be under the radar.
Yeah.
We're talking about Childress and Sonora and Canadian, and Henrietta can kind of sneak in there and do some damage.
We snuck them in at 19 in our 3A Division 2 rankings. And then down in 2A,
bunch of shocks here.
It's a lot more cut and dry in 2A.
Boy, 2A, both, we can just take it all at once. Both start the year with, I think, an unquestionable pick at number 1.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
Refugio in Division 1, Bremont in Division 2. Kind of for different reasons. For Refugio, it's kind of the sum of the parts, right? It's a really strong team coming back that's going to have revenge on their mind after getting beat really like a drum in the title game. For Bremont, it's about that dude, right?
They've got and this is not a knock on Rashad Paul. I've called him. He's kind of the Kyler Murray of 2A. I mean, he hasn't lost a game as a starter.
Yeah.
He's led his team to 2 state titles. I think, and actually he can cement his legacy. I think if they went 16-0 this year, he would surpass Kyler because he would go 47-0 as a starter with 3 state titles. Granted, 2A 6A difference
a little
there,
different,
but
he's
still
in
no
that
less
conversation.
impressive. I mean, he's a singular talent at the 2A Division 2 level, and I think. Until someone proves they can slow him down, you've got to put Bremont number 1.
I will say that I think that they will face a little bit of a deeper top part of 2A Division 2.
Region 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Region 3.
Region 3 is a bear.
Speed, baby.
Yeah.
Tenneha's bringing back quite a bit. I think them and that game with Tenneha potentially in the playoffs will be must-see TV.
This feels like an up year for Tenneha.
And then
for
me, the team that I see that we're predicting Bremont to see in the title game is Iran. And Iran brings back a ton. I want to make sure they bring back 10 starters on offense, 8 starters on defense.
Yeah.
They look like from a team that went 13-1 last year.
Yeah.
I mean, a team that is going to be that was devastating last year, bring back a lot. And I'll tell you, I look at Iran and look, it's one game, and Bremont doesn't know how to lose in title games. We understand that, but that style clash there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Iran plays their game and they just keep the ball away from where Rashad Paul can't hurt them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Iran's going to have a shot.
I think it'd be cool to see Iran, just a team from that part of the state, in
Oh,
the
God.
title game.
Yeah. Well, and
that would be cool.
This feels like the culmination, right, of what Kierhoff's been building there ever since he left Falls City.
They've kind of been getting better
this feels
each
like
year.
that. Yeah, they've gotten better every year, and this feels like this might be the group.
And I think in Division 1, a team that I'm really watching for in 2A Division 1 is Post.
Oh, for sure.
11-1 last year, dropping down. I think they bring back quite a bit as well.
We both have them at 7. Or no, we have them at 6. You have them at 7.
I think they're a team that could really.
And the other
be a
thing,
sleeper.
and on 2A Division 1, not to harp on this because we got to get to off-topic Friday. We're already running along, but
the important part of the show.
Of course, yeah. The left side of that bracket of 2A Division 1, okay, who's in that mix? Stratford's going to be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Mart, if Mart can have an upswing. Post, Crawford. There's a couple of
Good
teams
group.
there.
Yeah.
It's a good group, but it's also, I think, a thinner group than on the right side of the bracket. Because that
agree.
right side of the bracket, Refugio, Shiner,
It's
Mason.
gonna be a war in by district
is.
area. I mean,
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving, you're gonna have really tough playoff games.
And really, honestly, it's really no different than we talked last year. Whoever comes out of those teams that come out of the Refugio district, they're going to be battle tested. That's a brutal district at that level.
It's the old question of, are you battle tested or are you bruised? You know what I mean? We'll find that out when the playoffs come. We're DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and we have a website. All right, let's get to a little bit of Off-Topic Friday here with Max.
I don't even know what questions we have.
I have a couple.
Oh, boy.
This is fun.
let's see.
I love Off Topic Friday, by the way.
Here we go.
Yes. So,
Regular contributor.
yes, absolutely. We have a question from my buddy Jay Sparks, who is not only an outstanding bartender, but also a radio host in Missouri. The DCTF staff are in a horror movie. Who is the first to go? Okay. Is Greg's death epic or just sudden and off screen? That's interesting.
Okay.
So let's take this triumvirate. We'll include Matt in this. If we are in a horror movie, I don't know, because I think that we are all like, I would be the loudmouth, right? I'm the loudmouth guy who is always kind of like, I would definitely like taunt the serial killer.
A snarky remark.
Oh,
Yeah.
Snark would become.
I think I would be the guy, like, let's just say we're going against the guy in Scream. Okay,
Sure.
So the slasher movie.
Yes.
I think I would go, like, I would be like tweeting something and then like get stabbed in the back.
Sure.
And then I'd be like, I'd have to finish my tweet on my way down.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's, and I'd have some sort of snarky comment, be like, try to fit this in 140 characters.
I'd go Max last. I think Max is clearly the last.
He's the heady one.
Yeah.
He's the thoughtful one. The one who would. I know that Max has routinely been concerned that when I come on the show and I call people out, that they are now going to come into the office and kill me and kill him in.
By proxy, by
just
association.
Around, be like, might as well get your money's worth.
Sure.
I don't know.
I try to make friends with everyone.
I think you would be
that hates Greg.
I think I would be the because all horror movies start with one relatively inconsequential person getting killed. So like, let's just say like our boss gets killed first.
Yeah, he's
not Dave Campbell. Dave Campbell would.
Oh, no.
He'd be the one who kills the serial killer, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like we only talk about him off screen
By like accidentally opening a door that like impaled the
He'd just
person.
come in and be like, pfft, like,
and then he would tell the serial
Hey,
killer,
guys.
he's such a nice man, you know. I can't
Oh,
believe I did this.
I'm real
So
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
real sorry. Let me sign a magazine for you.
Just a fake Dave Campbell being introduced to DCTF.
here you go. I can sign a magazine. By the way, this death really reminds me of the 1971 game between
Bowl.
Arkansas and Rice.
Love you, Dave.
That's the best Dave I can do.
That's
Not
and
bad.
it's perfect. It's magical.
I
every
think
time.
I would be the first main character killed, and then I think it would come down to you two, and you guys would be like, guys, we gotta stick together and stuff. But then inevitably you'd be like, the best thing we can do is split up.
Yep.
Right? Inevitably, someone would come up with the idea of splitting up.
I don't know.
And then I think your death would be off screen, and that like Max is like going around and be like, Stepp, where are you? And then all of a sudden, like, we find you, like, you're like crumpled in the corner, or like you're doing the thing
Very
where,
dramatic, right?
Where you're sitting in the chair, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness I found you," you know. Oh my God! And then he like comes up, and like, Stepp, and he like pushes you, and you like fall over.
Sure.
I can see that. I can see Max definitely escaping the wrath of the serial killer.
But Dave would have to be the hero.
Dave would have to be the hero.
Who would be the
absolutely.
first
I
one
would
in
just
the-
want to be the person who's like, I'm gonna get in the running car and get out of here.
Yeah.
Is there any question that the first one in the media mafia that would go would be Fletcher?
Yeah.
No, actually, no.
It'd be Fletch, wouldn't it?
He wouldn't because he'd be too obvious.
If the whole media
Fletch
mafia.
Fletch strikes me as the guy who would randomly end up in all the right places. That's my bet.
Oh, so you think Fletch would be the guy who?
It's not. It wouldn't be because
He would be the guy that like everybody watching the movie is like, that's the killer.
right. Everyone
He's the
thinks
the red herring.
Yeah, thinks of Fletch the wrong way, but Fletch finds a way to just keep surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my theory.
And like he just happens to show up like after somebody gets killed. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And, like he's out of breath, and so everybody's like, "I got my eye on you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good off-topic Friday. Enjoy Canada, Matt. And thanks for the magazine. FNF.
Enjoy it.
It's on newsstands.
DCTF
Buy them both.
Live.
Buy them both. If you buy them both, you get a discount. That's not true.
You can talk football with Greg.
Yeah.
Greg.Tepper@TexasFootball.com.
Yes.
Enjoy Canada.
Thank you, sir.
And we are off on Monday because it is
4th of July,
it is
baby.
America's birthday.
Yeah.
So follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We have a website. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you on Tuesday on DCTF Live.